and welcome to the Let It BRFC podcast. I'm Adam Hunter. I'm joined by fan favourite Scott Taylor MacKenzie. Hey Scotty, how are you?
Oh, hey mate, how are you?
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad. I think it's the first time that we've spoke. Aside from there was one interview when you got man the match, but you've not been on a podcast as yet. So let's see how that goes.
Nah, one man of the match, and that'll do me.
Yeah.
No, been absolutely honking since then. So.
But you joint top goal scorer so far.
Aye, well, there's a couple of free kicks in that. So aye, anyway, it's always good to score, obviously.
Overall, how you found it so far? How you settled in?
I've settled in really well. Obviously, when I first came in, it's a wee bit more like nervous. You don't know who to speak to too much, if people aren't approaching you too much or whatever. So you kind of just you just kind of when you know a wee bit. But yeah, when I came in, like all the boys and that were brand new and stuff. So now I'm feeling very much, pretty much just settled like I've been here for years, pretty much now. It helps with like a few other new boys, and obviously new management team. So that's basically like a fresh kind of start for everybody.
What's it like? What's the dressing room like?
The dressing room is really, really good. The boys are absolutely brilliant. There's no like a bad bone in the body. I'm probably only arsehole in the team. But I've always been that, so it's an acceptance. But the boys are absolutely class. Get on really well. We've had a few nights out and that and stuff already, which always breaks the ice with new players and new management and stuff like that. Always makes it. You see how people are when they're a wee bit drunk and that, and you can wind each other up the next game day. So that's good. It's been good, and as I say, it's been really settling in. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, it helps, doesn't it? Having like stuff like that where people's guards are down a little bit and the do sort of open up in that sort of setting, don't they?
Yeah.
Since you've joined the club, is there anything that surprised you about Berwick?
I knew that Berwick were obviously a really big club. I knew they were a big club, but I didn't actually understand how much there is fans come to the games and passionate people are on like the Facebook and Twitter and just stuff like that. I didn't actually realise how much people take to it and how much I knew it was, like I say, I knew it was a big club, but social media and that is quite big and it's very good.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I think we've got 20,000 followers across all the platforms. So I think it's important to do things like this. This was part of the reason why we did start doing podcasts, is to elevate some of our players like presence within the league and within obviously our fan base too, to try and bring them sort of closer together. So yeah, I think that's really important, and I think the fans have sort of warmed very quickly to you. I think I mentioned it to Jamie Piper as well. There's sort of two cult figures within that squad at the moment, and it's yourself and Pipes. So it's good to see. It's good to see.
It's really good. I think we're me and Jamie we grew up very close to each other. Although we weren't always close friends, we're very similar, as in we play with passion, and it's cliche saying people are like, whatever, but yeah, we care, and although everybody cares, but you play with your heart on your sleeve and kind of say like tackles and stuff like that. If you're putting yourself about and you're showing that you're like not just showing, but you're putting in game performances that you're wanting to win and you care about where we're going, and we're not just like we're here just to kind of play a part. We're wanting to try and win and get Berwick like up the league again. And that's the view. So I think a lot of people. It's like if I go and watch Hearts and if I see a player that's making sure he's winning his individual battles, getting goals, you're like that. He's really putting in that, and I think that's the same me and Piper, as well as everybody else in the team, if you're really working hard, and every fan takes to you, and including me, taking the other players that I watch, if they play for like the team I support, you take to them a lot more, and it's just kind of gives them something to appreciate you a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned around trying to get us up the league. What are your thoughts of the standard of the Lowland League this year so far?
Yeah, so obviously it's always a good standard of the Lowland League. And now there's Rangers and Celtic B team in the league, which are two really good teams. We played against Celtic already, and they were really good, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, and they're absolutely brilliant. Passed the ball very, very well, and punished us, albeit maybe an area errors for ourselves, but they took it upon themselves to punish us, and that's what happened. But I think overall it's going to be a tough league. It looks like Kindy Borrellig are the strongest probably at the moment. They're a team up been together as well for a long time. So that's what it comes down to. It's bonding, and as their structure of playing, it sticks. So eventually that's going to be happening with us. We're pretty much a whole new team as well. Like I think there's 7 or 8 bodies are new. So eventually we're getting to the stage where we're starting to like gel into like our performances. We've had a few defeats, but it's going to happen. Football wouldn't be football if people didn't get beat and people didn't go on a run of winning games and have a couple of games of losing. That's just what happens in football. But hopefully we can be up there, and I think I mean, if it's not this season, then it'll be for sure the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, it's. Do you think it's important to keep that nucleus of the squad together? You've seen it from this year, from looking at the legs of Bonnie Rig. That's a side that's been together for some time, and they've sort of stuck together and added additions here and there that has complemented the squad. So do you think that is important from a Berwick perspective?
Yeah, I think that's very important. Sticking together, keeping boys, and I know it's upsetting that sometimes that you're on the bench or whatever. Like I'd be really upset if I was on the bench as well. But that's just normal. That just shows how much you want to play, how much you want to be involved in helping the team. But keeping boys together for like 2-3 seasons and it goes on, that plays like a big part in winning trophies and stuff like that, because you know that your mate next to you is going to have your back, your mate behind you is going to have your back, and that's what comes down to essentially, as well as the manager getting his style of play over, and you've got more than 11 bodies that are taking it on. So that's kind of, I think it's very important to keep a good team together instead of boys leaving because they're maybe not played as much as they want to or something like that. You know what I mean?
Is there anyone that stood out for you so far? You mentioned Celtic, or any individual players you've played against so far where you've thought, "Ooh, you're a player, you shouldn't be playing at this level."
I think everybody in our league is, especially in the midfield, they're always really decent players, and they've always came for. They've either had a good upbringing playing at a youth senior level, or they've had a few games in League One, League Two. So I think in this league, there's no any bad players at all. Especially as I say in the midfield, there's always really that's always a really tough battle. Every game. So it just shows you the standard that's in this Lowland League, not just in midfield, defence, up front, but no, overall, kind of, I say there's Boris and stuff that are decent and physical. They play a wee bit more direct, but they've got like Danny Galbraith, who I played with at Gallifreydine, and he's unbelievable. Like he's probably I'd say Danny's he's early 30s now, but he's one of the best. He's one of the best centre midfielders, number 10s in the league, easy. And I think Danny's probably up there with one of the best players in the league, definitely.
Would he be amongst the best players that you've played with, or who would be?
No, definitely. Danny is unbelievable. Wow, like a proper leader, professional. You should say things like he does before games, after. He's a proper professional. When me, Danny, we always have wee arguments in that in training because we were so passionate as well. But he's a really top pro and an even better guy. He'd help you out in any situation. So I think that's probably me appreciating him more as a mate, but even as a player, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, you mentioned about the fact of having fans contact you on social media and realizing how big the club was from that aspect. How important has it been to get fans back into stadiums this season?
Oh, it's brilliant. Even if it's just like a couple of hundred fans or 100 fans, it just gives you that wee bit of boost when you hear cheering and stuff, or and there's a tackle, and you're like, hey, we're shouting at the ref. It's just like, or shouting at what he has, or like if it's an opposite team and they're shouting like you're shite and stuff. It's good. It's good. You appreciate it because I'd say with like the last year we played, it was nobody there, and it was just nothing. And just you hear yourself shouting, and I can always hear myself shouting absolute nonsense anyway, but. Like it was even worse when the fans were just echoing in the stadium. Me absolutely just shouting at myself and calling myself shite and whatever.
Has that always been a big part of your game? The sort of big crack, because I remember when you played with Gala at Berwick and you were giving the ducker like a bit. So has that always been an element of your game?
Aye, definitely. That's who I am as a character. That's who I am as a player and as a person. I just I appreciate when people are giving you a wee bit of abuse back because, like I say, I go to football games and I give people abuse. So there's a smaller minority giving me abuse. There's only like 100 fans, but if you go to like Tynecastle or something, you're getting pelters through the game.
You're right on the pitch at Tynecastle as well, aren't you?
You're like top of players. So yeah, there's been some games, absolutely howling at players, but we just get a small minority, but it's good. It's like and kind of after the end of the game and that kind of like fans and that just have a wee laugh and it's you shit yourself, but it's never malicious or nothing like that. But I think being connected, either side, the fans when you're playing, it's always a good bit of banter. And I think a lot of people try and switch off and like, okay, I'm not getting involved in that. But it's different from just getting involved in because of it bother us and just having a wee laugh and tackle yourself. It's just get up or get out, stuff like that. It's just shite banter, but it's good.
That's funny. But in terms of the manager, we were talking earlier about it's a new management team that's came in with Stuart Melton and Dean Shanks. What's your relationship like with those guys?
Really well, really well actually. Get on with Shanksy and the gaffer really well. I really trust what they're doing as well, and I feel like they put a lot of faith in me as well because there's been a couple of games that I've not been up to the standard where I should be, but they've kind of put me back in next week and they've believed in me that I'll get them a goal or even if I'm not playing particularly well myself, I'll make sure that the team are playing well. I'll try my best to lead them into playing well and lead them into a victory. I think that's kind of where I'm at with the gaffer and Shanksy, but so it's positive. It's really positive with them, and as I say, trust them very well.
Do they have different roles within the dressing room between the two of them? Is there elements of coaching that Dino takes, and then elements that Melks takes as well?
Yeah, so there's kind of like training, training and stuff like the gaffer will take us for a bit. Shanksy will do like the waves the attack, followed by like the camper, the gaffer's leading stuff. But Shanksy takes a lot of the sessions as well, and it's really good. So I think they kind of just between themselves sort out how they're doing it. But both of them take the sessions really well. I think all the boys really love coming to training. Even if it's half eight night from all, you're actually falling asleep on the couch after you just had your dinner and you're like, I've got to training. But when you get there, it's brilliant. Even last night, Tuesday night, last night. We were just had a good warm up and stuff by passing them in and like wee games and stuff, and really competitive games. And like there's boys like arguing each other and that, but after it we forget about it, and it's like everybody's shaking hands, and ultimately it's a really good session. And it's pretty simple. That's what Gaffer was saying. It's a simple session, but everybody works hard, and it gets that competitive edge, and at the end of it we're laughing, and it brings fun back to everybody's mind, looking into a big week ahead.
And I suppose that's initially why people get into football, because they enjoy it, isn't it? And
Definitely.
I think something that gets lost along the way at times, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does, especially if you're no winning as much. Cracks start to show sometimes, and everybody's been there where you can the weekend and go to Tuesday and boys are going at each other, and it goes too far. I've been a part of that, and just been kind of a character that I am. Like if you've still got it for the Saturday, but I think like I say, like the gaffer knows when we need a rollicking or we need a wee bit of chirpy and having a laugh, and I think that's a really good trait to have, it's good man management, because you know that the boys need this or the boys need that, and I think at the right times he's been absolutely second to none with that, with me, and I can speak for the whole team that everybody appreciates that as well.
From a personal viewpoint, you were third top goal scorer in the league last year, and you're currently Berwick Rangers joint top goal scorer. Is that an aspect of your game that you work on?
I work on set pieces. I was always after training, doesn't matter, Tuesday, Thursday, I always try and hit a few free kicks, even if it's just 3 or 4. I just try and get a couple kind of where I want it to go. Just ask the keeper just to stand there and to try and save them, because most of them go over the bar anyway. But some of them end up in the top corner, like you've seen. So I do kind of work in set plays and stuff, but actually I'm a holding midfielder. And I've just kind of been quite lucky getting on the end of goals and stuff, and putting myself in there. Like if there's been a corner or whatever, I'm quite short, but I like to go and attack the ball. I feel like every time there's a corner I could potentially get it, or every time there's a free kick I'm potentially going to score. Or like I say, kind of like they're a wee bit more simpler, but no all the time. No, because like there's pressure on you, and there's the pressure. You're thinking to yourself, I'm just going to tap this in, but it's not always easy. Most of the keepers are really good keepers, and they've probably seen you hit a penalty before and know where you're kind of going. So other than that, I think I practice too much. Like I think I've just kind of, I know that I've got a decent left foot, so I'm confident I'm going to shoot and stuff. But I've never been one for like practicing on like my finishing or nothing like that. I've mostly always been a defensive midfielder, so I've never been one that's going to try and get in the box and get goals. But it's just come naturally, and thankfully it has.
Yeah, definitely. You missed the last couple of games following a send-off against Bo'ness, but you're back in the squad for Monday night's game against Gretna. How frustrating is it to be watching from the sidelines, particularly with the Bonnie-Rig game? Obviously, we're short on numbers, and it was a real tough game over there. How was it from your perspective?
Bonnie-Rig was that one was probably the gutter, because they are obviously a bigger team, and you want to play against the bigger teams, and it wasn't available, so it was gutted, and even more so seeing the crowd, because Bonnie-Rig obviously got a good crowd. A lot of people have kind of played against as well, or people I know watching that. You want to be involved, and especially when you're like the team's getting beat. I'm not saying I could do anything like it would help, but you want to feel like you're out there, and if you take the defeat as a team, and I didn't feel like I was I was any good to my mates, my teammates out there, and I was doing it my own stupid decision, but it's one of them. Football's easier when you're watching it. I think a lot of people didn't understand that. You're watching on the side or on the stand, and like if you're a centre midfielder and the centre back pops into you and you've not fully checked your shoulders or what's around you, and you just bounce it back and people are screaming turn, and you're like, you can see for 50 yards what's going on around the pitch. I've not been in that position because, well, like I've not checked my awareness or whatever, but as I say, football's always easier for when you're watching it as into when you're involved in it, especially if you've got decent players up your arse.
Yeah. In the game against Gretna against the game against Gretna is going to be broadcast live on BBC Scotland.
Yeah.
That must be some buzz.
No, it's really good. It's kind of like, it's cliche to say, but it's what you want when you're 10 and that, you're watching people on the telly and you're like, oh, hopefully I can get on the telly one day. I've never played on the telly either, so.
Was it your first time?
Aye, first time. Obviously games have been videos and that, but I've never been live on the telly, so something to look forward to, and even might be playing, but it's something that's special for the club and especially for all the players that are going to be involved in it, and including Gretna.
So you'll be recording it to watch back many a time in the future, hopefully.
Hopefully watch it back in happiness rather than looking back and just say any regrets.
How is the rest of the boys feeling about it? Are they similar? Is training been different this week because of the news, the fact that they are going to be on BBC Scotland, or is it this much of the same?
No, I think it's much of the same. To be honest, I think anybody's really paid attention to it. I think there was somebody for the BBC at the West Calder game.
Yeah.
I'm sure, but there's not really anybody at training or that. So I think the boys have getting these for what. It's just a game at the end of the day. And good it's on the TV and stuff, but I think anybody's paid full attention to it.
Scottish Cup's always special. Is there anything that stands out in terms of your memories from either playing or following Hearts or anything like that?
I'll say Hearts won 5-1 at Hampden against Hibs in the Scottish Cup final, so that's always a big standout, obviously. But I got to the fourth round with Lothian Thistle as well. We got beat off East Kilbride 2-0. They went on to play Celtic in the fifth round. So that was a bit gutter, but that was two really nice memories that I've had of the Scottish Cup.
What was that run like?
I was mental. We obviously started in the first preliminary. I went all the way to the fourth round playing East Kilbride at their stadium, and narrowly lost the game. But it was crazy to be a part of it. It was really good.
Okay. No, spot on. Well, happy birthday for earlier in the week again. 25 on Monday, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, 25, mate. You're really old now, like.
And then good luck for this coming Monday, obviously, with the cup game and for the rest of the season. Hopefully, the run of goals continues and we'll continue to climb that table.
Definitely, mate. Hopefully another few goals, but hopefully we get through and get wins on the table as well.
Yeah. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.